Well, hello again. Welcome back to the Monologue Project. I'm Candace Scholz, and this week I'm going to give you 3 tips to tackle Shakespeare. All right, tip number 1, know what you are saying. So there's really 3 parts to this. Know the play, look up all the words in your piece, and paraphrase your piece. So know the play, read the play. And if you can't quite glean the context, all the characters and all the plot lines from the play, find a film version or do your research online. Wikipedia, No Fear Shakespeare, Spark Notes, whatever's available to you so that you fully understand what's going on in the play, what people are saying. The Folgers edition is a really fantastic copy that has 2 parts to it. So they print the play on one page and then on the other page they tell you just in colloquial language what's going on, which is a great way to understand. I've seen professional actors let their pride stand in the way of actually doing their research. So they think, oh yeah, no, I understand what's going on. But do you really understand what's going on in the context of that time that Shakespeare said it in? So go the extra mile. Really make sure that you know what's going on. And don't let pride stand in your way. And same goes for looking up the words in your piece. If you're not 100% sure, if you couldn't give me a dictionary definition of the piece, go look it up. Chances are that the meaning has shifted from the time that Shakespeare wrote it to the time that we're saying it. So it's good to go back to maybe the Oxford English Dictionary, the OED, if you really want to get very precise about what it is that you're saying. And then finally, you're going to put the piece into your own words. And I really recommend writing this down so that you can have the piece on one side and then your own written translation. It really helps to clarify exactly what it is that you're doing in the piece. And sometimes I find that when I do this, I'm actually sliding by on assumptions in some areas in the piece, and I'm just letting the words kind of carry me and not actually understanding what it is that I'm saying, which also means that the audience won't get it either. So the more that I understand the piece, the more the audience can understand the piece as well. So this is all to elevate your work to a very personal and clear level. Okay, tip number 2, understanding the meter. All right, so Shakespeare typically wrote in blank verse composed in iambic pentameter. So what does that mean? That means that he typically wrote unrhymed and he would use 10 syllables in each line, and the spoken stress would be on the second syllable, every second syllable. So, an example, if music be the food of love, play on, right? So we all know that line, and you can really clearly hear the rhythm in that speech. So you're not saying every second word, it's every second syllable. If music be the food of love, play on. So that's a perfect line. You might find that there are abnormalities in your speech, so go through your speech. Say it out loud, and you can use a tap or however you want to do it. You can kind of smack your thighs, however you've been taught to kind of go through the meter. Hear it first, and then I would go through and score my text. What I do is a horizontal line for an unstressed syllable and a slash for a stressed syllable, and I can begin to see the pattern on the page. Sometimes it just sounds completely wrong to say a word the way I scan it, the way it's supposed to be within the pattern. So I would say, okay, this is supposed to be flipped. I'm supposed to actually put the stress in a different area. And Shakespeare typically does this purposefully to point up something. So this is an acting choice that you can make. You can either scan the lines perfectly, which can sometimes lead to you sounding a little bit robotic, or you can begin to make choices where you want to break out of the meter. Now, Shakespeare has purposely broken out of the meter in some places, and sometimes you have the freedom to break out of the meter as well. So understand the basics first, and then you can begin to play with it a little bit like jazz. So if you haven't seen a lot of Shakespeare and you're kind of curious to hear what this sounds like, go watch anything Kenneth Branagh has done. I will post his name and a link to his IMDb page below. He is a brilliant Shakespearean actor, and you can really learn a lot from how he uses the language and how he plays within the meter. Okay, tip number 3. Don't be precious with it. very much easier said than done. You've done all this academic work on it, and you've researched and really laid the foundation, and now you have to do it justice, right? Wrong. You just have to follow your heart. You have an intuitive hit when you read these plays about how this character can be played, the myriad of possibilities that you can fulfill when you get on stage and play within this character. It's time to be playful, and it's time to let your unique perspective come through. You don't have to be precious with Shakespeare, and you don't have to do it like anyone else has ever done it before. That's why we keep watching. We don't keep watching Hamlet just because we don't know what's going to happen to Hamlet. We know. We're here to see that actor live through this story now. That's what's compelling. So follow your heart, follow your gut, and don't think you have to do it right. Have fun with this. Shakespeare was one of the most brilliant writers of all times, and you get to say his words. Enjoy it. I do every time I get on stage, so I hope you have as much fun with it as I do. Thank you so much for supporting the Monologue Project.